What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in our video today, we're taking a look at the UMBRAL engram and specifically some of the best ways to go about farming this engram. So if you're chasing down new loot for Season 11, then this most definitely will be the video for you. Now if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below, that super helps us out here on the channel. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. So yesterday saw the launch of Season 11, Season of Arrivals, and with that we have the Prismatic Recaster. This can be found over by the Drifter and allows us to refocus the UMBRAL engrams into more specific loot. So if you're chasing down specific weapons or armor, then be sure to come over here and refocus your engrams before handing them in to the UMBRAL decoder. Now an important thing to bear in mind is whilst decrypting UMBRAL engrams, make sure you've got the UMBRAL Mastery unlocked on your Prismatic Recaster. This will mean that every time you hand in a UMBRAL engram, it will slowly level up your Recaster as well. So it's win-win all round in terms of getting loot, but also upgrading your Recaster to unlock additional perks as the season goes by. So now we know a little bit more about the UMBRAL engram. What is the best way to currently farm these in the game? A legendary engram has a chance to turn into an UMBRAL engram, but you can farm them very efficiently within one of this week's nightfalls, and this is the Lake of Shadows. This is a popular farm for the Malicious Birthright, the kinetic grenade launcher, but it's also a very fast nightfall to run for the purpose of getting UMBRAL engrams. You have a very high chance of getting one for every completion, with a well-coordinated fire team being able to complete runs in little under 4.5 minutes. Now playing out in the background right now is a run I did earlier today. This was part of a random fire team that I found on the Bungie LFG. If you haven't used it and do struggle to find fire teams, I do highly recommend it. I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. As I said, this is a good farm for the Malicious Birthright, but also UMBRAL engrams now. Now because this is an original nightfall, you will need to adjust the modifiers using your 5 of Swords. Now be sure to make sure you don't have any power modifiers associated on your 5 of Swords and set that to an absolute 0 if you possibly can. Now in terms of modifiers and debuffs, the only modifiers we equipped on our runs was an arc modifier alongside momentum. Now as you can see from some of the footage playing out, I'm using the Legend of Aqueous shotgun. This is fantastic for taking out the 3 blights at the beginning of the strike. It simply needs to take 2 shots to defeat each one, but it also is fantastic at DPS when you get to the final boss room. Now momentum is specifically a debuff, however it becomes very useful in strikes like this, especially if you're speedrunning, as it helps with your health regeneration whilst you're moving at speed. Now as you can see, we are covering large amounts of this strike in short spaces of time, and this is allowing us to keep our health topped up as we progress through the strike. Now as always, I'm running on a Titan. I do have Doom Archers equipped, which is fantastic for taking out all the Taken. A simple melee will be enough to clear as many Scions as you feel is necessary and keep moving as you progress through the strike. For other classes, Warlocks are very useful. Again, they have their healing nade, which is great, keeping their health topped up. And also the well is very useful, especially in the final boss room. And then for Hunters, they can pretty much run anything they like. They can go invisible whenever they want, but also they can also use their tethers, which is great for pinning down the adds. Again, very useful in the final encounter. Now I thought it'd be really important to show you guys a full uninterrupted run. This allows you to see the paths that we're taking, but also when and where we choose to engage with ads. This is really important to make sure you're only engaging when you absolutely need to, but also making sure that you're keeping moving and moving together as a fire team effectively and as efficiently as you possibly can. Now we're approaching the final stages of the strike now, and as you can see, we are really moving and clearing only the ads we absolutely need to minimize any time penalties. Now the key thing here is to make sure we are taking the time to pick up any ammo and keep hold of that for the final boss. Now if you are really struggling for ammo at this point in the strike, be sure to make sure you have equipped a special ammo finisher mod on one of your armor pieces and use some of the ads in this area to make sure you're going in with full reserves. And even a heavy ammo finder mod will be super beneficial as you work your way through the strike. And once you reach the boss room, by far the quickest way of taking out the boss is by dropping a well and unloading lead into the boss as quickly as you can. Use Legend of Aqueous, any grenade launchers or even swords are fantastic for taking them out very quickly, and in doing so it will limit the amount of ads that are able to spawn this encounter, again shortening the time you need to get a successful run. Now as you can see from the footage playing out, it didn't really work out like that for us with my LFG group. However, Doom Archers does do work in this room and allows you to clear Scions and Thralls very quickly and effectively meaning they don't cause you too much trouble and you can focus on the boss and some of the knights that do have solar shields that spawn around the arena. So be sure to make sure you have a solar shotgun or fusion rifle, as those are very effective for taking those shields out and defeating them very quickly as well. So that sums up everything you need to know to run this strike very quickly and as effectively as a fire team. And as I said at the beginning of the video, the chances of getting an Umbral engram from completing Nightfalls is very high. I got 4 out of the 5 runs that we ran, and for the 1 run that I didn't get one, I got some altered element, which is what you need to use to refocus your Umbral engrams to whichever specific item of loot that you're after, whether that be weapons, armor, some drifter loot, or any of the other goodies from previous seasons. And the Lake of Shadows isn't the only way of getting Umbral engrams. They can drop from pretty much any activity. The other activity where we seem to have almost a guaranteed source is the heroic version of the Contact public event. This is the new public event over on IO. I made a complete guide for this yesterday, covering exactly how to activate the heroic version and the quickest and best ways to go about doing that. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll be sure to leave a link to that in the video description below for you, which should super help out anyone that isn't able to get a full fire team but is able to run the Contact public event in the public space instead. Now please be aware that the public event itself will take you almost twice as long as the Lake of Shadows does. So if you want the most effective method, try to form those fire teams and jump into the Lake of Shadows whilst it's available. If you can't do that though, then the Contact Heroic public event is your next best option. So there we have it, guys. That is how you can quickly and effectively farm Umbral engrams, whether that be in a public space or even the Lake of Shadows Nightfall Strike. So if you're going after specific loot or even trying to level up your Prismatic Recaster, then be sure to try these out to get some sweet loot and to save yourself some time. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.